Welcome, welcome, welcome. You already know what time it is. Yes, sir. Hit the like button coming through the door. The Cash App is Carcino, Carceno. You already know. Yes, this is going to be covered. There's a lot to break down here, so we're going to get right through it. As soon as the people start showing up, we can get to doing what it is that we do. Hit the like button so we can get started. People can start to see what we already know. Very much so. So we have to get back to what we do on the norm. Absolutely. Now, this is day 24 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, and we're going to definitely, absolutely, we're definitely putting it into the world so that they would know that this day was crazy, as they are right back talking about the removal of this black juror that's on the trial. You know, it's a lot of people out there, you know, watching this situation. And by them watching the situation and seeing how it's playing out, there has been nothing but constant flux of what should be, but what isn't going on. Now, I know what y'all might be thinking. What is he talking about? Right? I hear that a lot. What is Sino talking about? Well, let's get to it. Because everybody was pretty shocked and seeing, because all they gonna know is black jury, black man who's a juror is getting removed from the case that don't have a lot of black people on the stand. And he ain't do nothing wrong in the case. They going over his recruitment process because he's from Jersey, but he lived in the Bronx. So the judge sits down and he says on Friday that he would use the weekend to determine if he would just dismiss juror number 6. So the defense objected to any additional questioning of the juror, and he said, I took time to reflect on the matter. The record revealed significant concerns that the juror may have tailored his response to secure a spot on the jury. His inconsistent answers brought his credibility into question. As a result of that, the court signaled that he should be removed. Now, the defense is requesting that we question him further. The defense expressed concern about substituting an African-American juror with a white juror, referencing a second a Second Circuit case, the court acknowledges the seriousness of that concern. However, additional questioning at this stage would be inappropriate, and that could disrupt the jury's functioning. This is precisely the reason why alternates are in place. Mr. Donaldson commended jury diversity, describing the selection process as having worked wonderfully. The defense has argued the court to make this decision based on race, which is not appropriate. Therefore, jury 6 is dismissed and replaced by the first alternate. Regarding the defense's claim of prosecutorial misconduct, it essentially asks the court to rule on the basis of race, something the court cannot and will not do. Regarding the matter concerning another juror that came up on Friday, I will speak with that juror at the end of the day, today's proceeding, counsel, and they should let me know whether they prefer the questioning to take place in a clear courtroom or privately in the Robin room. So the judge made a call for the jury to be brought in. Do I agree with the judge's decision? No, because right now we're 5 weeks into the trial. We're in the last week of what the prosecutors are calling their final witnesses is coming. So in the middle of the final witnesses, you're ready to bring in new jurors when this guy hasn't done anything in the case. Like, I can see if he committed a crime in the courtroom. It's too late in the game to be changing jurors. That's crazy. Who changed a juror at this stage of the game? That don't even make sense. Under any circumstances, I have not seen that done ever. So this was crazy. This is before the jury even got in there. They ain't even got started yet. So the juror comes in. They said, "Welcome back, everyone. The government will now proceed with its next witness." They say, "Before that, Your Honor, we're submitting a few exhibits under seal." This is the government, pending proper foundation. Now we call our first witness, Mrs. Sankar. This is Anaya, I believe, Sankar. They said, "What is your role in relationship to this case?" She's like, "I worked on 2 summary charts. I was tasked with verifying their accuracy." They said, "Can you explain the source documents on these charts based on?" This is drawn from hundreds of pages underlining records. And they said, "Who appears in the messages shown in the chart?" Christina Coram. "And whose phone number is listed here?" "That belongs to Brendan Paul." "How did Ms. Coram respond to Mr. Lopez regarding the escort?" She replied with 4 laughing emojis and asked, "How long is he going to stay awake?" The item dated January 30th, 2023. It is an audio recording, right? Yes, it is. They say, "Ms. Foster, please play the first minute and 10 seconds of the clip." And it's a female voice saying, "2 things were weird. The only person who knew was you. Someone found an iPad." Voice B said yes. So what the paralegal, Anaya Sankar, is doing is validating summary charts containing some of the text messages, calls, and images that's being brought up as part of the official evidence, right? So they say, "What does Christina Coram say in this message?" She's saying he's going to the 4 Seasons and wants you to bring Gatorade and chicken noodle soup. And they said, "Well, let's read through these messages." She said, "I'll read for Dave Shirley and you read for Christina Coram." She says, "Okay." And she said, as David Shirley, "Rock is riding with him?" Not to know the Rock. They said, "Can you deliver $4,000 in cash from Rock to the hotel?" And she said, "Sure." And they said, just a heads up, he's planning to do a Wild King tonight. And the government, speaking for Dave Shirley, said, oh, I forgot to grab the cash. Just hand it to Fahim just in case. What message did the hotel send to Miss Corum? Hotel call, Paul is coming up. Does Paul shows up in that other part of the chart? Yes. Let's turn off the exhibit monitors for the public and the press. Inform me once the screens are off. So then they exchange between Miss Jane and Christina Corum. And she says, can you ask them to bring up 15 bath towels? He usually brings between 5,000 and 10,000. They're expecting the guests to check out of the presidential suite by 1 p.m. They said, we're heading out. What are these messages concerning? That we're arranging a flight for Jane and this one. That the flight details sent from Jessica Ruiz to Christine Corum for Arthur Jr. and Paul. What about these messages? It's a request to pick up cash for Guido at Mapleton. And they said, what does Christina Corum send to Sean? She writes, Guido's outside. And Diddy responds with an auto message. Please play the auto message. Diddy says in a hoarse voice, about Guido. Take care of it. And how does Corum respond? She replies, done. Do some of these messages involve Cassie Ventura? Yes, they do. Look at page 5, May 2nd, 2017. What are these messages? There are texts between Cassie Ventura and Christina Corum. And she's like, well, I'll be Cassie Ventura. What the F? Are you okay? And Santa Carr's doing Christina Corum. So she's saying, are you okay? And they're saying, no one deserves to be dragged by their hair. He's like, look at the rows 87 to 92 messages between Cassie and Christina Corum from April 20th, 2017. I just can't do this anymore. I'm here for you. With a heart emoji, Christina Corum put that down there. The AUSA, talking as Cassie, said, I'm feeling down, but I don't want to mess things up. She's like, don't let it throw you off track. Saying, don't let this throw you off your track, right? That's what they're saying here. Don't let this throw you off track. It's not worth it. And they say, all right, well, let's move on to Jane's messages. You read her parts. It said, we had a fight. I'm skipping hotel night, but I'm bringing him a cake. What's the date of that message? November 16, 2023. And what are these next items? Auto recordings dated November 19, 2023. Go ahead and play the recordings. We can't really talk on this line. You know what I mean? I called my loved one. My love is real. No doubt about that. It's just some freaky stuff I thought we both liked. And then it's Jane on the phone again saying, I don't know. It's just the way it happened, word for word. It's insane. It feels twisted. Diddy said, but like, you know. And then the audio club cuts off. And they was like, play the clip. Diddy says, I really need your friendship right now. Don't send any texts. Then it says, I just needed to say, I really need your friendship, baby. I'm about to go see my mom. You feel me? Please keep me in your prayers. And she says, okay. And what's this? 3 days later, Christina Corum writes, we all know what your kryptonite is. And Diddy says, please have Robin double check that her rent is taken care of. And Robert says, her rent has already been paid. And what's this next item? It's a photo discovered on Mrs. Coram's phone dated December 28, 2023. This image shows a cell phone screen with a message that says, I lost work opportunities. And then Jane says, you broke me. You asked what I needed to heal, and now you're angry with me. Who is this conversation between? Jane and Christina Coram. She says, Jane says, he said he'll send the recordings through my baby's father. I'm traumatized. He keeps asking me again and again and again, who am I seeing? He said he's going to send the sex tapes to my child's father. I'm drugged in them. What he's done to me is beyond painful. How does Mrs. Coram respond? I haven't talked to him. And these next images, photos of the phone screen, can you read what they say? As Jane, she's saying, you effed everything up. You've won. And they said, what are you looking at now? Uh-oh, hold on. Something's wrong here. All right. We're back. Hopefully we back. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, pulling that again. Oh, I haven't talked to them, and he's like, these images, the photos on your screen, read them. What did they say? So she said, what are we looking at here? And it was a video clip removed of Christina Coram's device, saying they were saying, please play the video. So a woman voice says, like $1,000. And what's shown is that it's an accompanying image, what appears to be long manicured nails. And they said, what does KK write in this message? She says, they're just hanging out at his place, heading out to shop like King's Night vibe or Gucci bag mode. And she put LOL. Your Honor, this might be a good point to take a break. So they took a break. So they started looking at the summary charts with Diddy, Mia, and Drock. So they said, all right, we're back. Let me direct you to a message from November 19th, 2023. What did Drock write to Mr. Combs? He says, he wrote, we need to hear your voice, bro. Love you. And how did Mr. Combs respond? He responded, thank you for checking on me. I really appreciate you. Love you. So the AUSA said, I'll call you back. I'm talking to the kids. So Drock and them comes in and they said, well, where are you? Virginia Beach. They was like, Virginia Beach? So Drock tells them like to text me his number to Diddy. And then they was like, I didn't have my phone. I was scuba diving. So they saying we're opening up a new restaurant on the 17th. You know, he doesn't want anything from you. So Mia said it's smart to stay in your bubble. He said, I'm on an island off the coast of Honduras. So they said, I'd love to hear more about Honduras. They said, let me see how I can send you something. And then Mia said, I never asked for anything. I'm allowed to send my sister a gift, they said. So Miss Sankar, they said, did you have any other involvements in the case besides what you described? She says, no, I did not. So they said, no further questions, Your Honor. So they decided to do cross, and sure enough, they step up as Tenny comes up and says, I'll be doing this cross. She said, I'd like to direct your attention to the specific message from Damian Butler to Mr. Combs, which is Drock, I believe. Let's pull up the exhibit. This message was sent days before the illegal filing, correct? And they were like, she's like, yes, that's correct. And Mr. Butler tells Mia that Mr. Combs wants to speak with her, correct? Yes. He also assures her that Mr. Combs doesn't want anything from her, right? Right. She said, yes, that's what the message says. Now, look at the message Mr. Combs sends Mia on February 7th, 2024. I'll read it aloud. Hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone. Just need to talk to you for 10 minutes. Just need my memory jogged on some things. You were my right hand for years. So I just speak to your memory, who was even around me, and it would be good to hear your voice. But if you don't want to, it's all good. Just let me know. Love. Hope you will. And hope you're well. Does that match the exhibit? Yes, it does. After that message, Drock informs Diddy or Sean Combs that Mia's phone rings as if she's out of the country, correct? Yes. And to be clear, you've seen no record suggesting that he's called Mia again after that, right? Yes. There are no further records of contact. I'd like to turn your attention to a message exchange between Christina Coram and someone identified as Jane about Valentine's Day 2020 or 2022. Sorry about that. In this exchange, Jane expresses excitement, doesn't she? She does. They was like, she writes, I'm excited to surprise him, correct? That's right. And she's referring to Sean Combs, right? Correct. And she says, after that message, Jane sends Miss Coram some photos. She said, yeah, she sends images. And what does that image show? A hotel room decorated with rose pillows and heart-shaped balloons. So Jane's preparing a romantic surprise for Mr. Combs at the time. That's what the message and photos suggest, right? They said, well, let's take a look at the text messages from February the 25th between Christina Coram and Jane. She says, okay. She says, in these messages, Miss Coram reaches out to Jane twice, asking her to call, correct? Yes, she calls. He said, okay. Well, Mr. Combs is pushing her to finalize plans. Is that right? Yes, that's correct. Now, how does Jane respond? My answer to him is no, and it's still no. Did Christina Coram acknowledge that? She did. She said she would let him know. And she told Jane to keep her posted if anything changes. Yes? That's what she wrote. Ms. Sankar, let's now turn to a few messages from Fahim Muhammad, Diddy's head of security, okay? These were messages sent to Sean Combs, Christina Coram, and Sean Diddy Combs' account manager, correct? Yes, that's right. In these messages, Mr. Muhammad is asking for approval for disbursement. Yes, from an account labeled PD Personal. And the funds were extended to cover various expenses, correct? He was requesting authorization for several payments. Let's turn to the message exchange between Sean Combs and his chief of staff, Christina Coram, from November 2023. Can you read what Mrs. Coram wrote? If you cannot be honest with me, this doesn't work. And Sankar, as Christina Coram said, we all know what your kryptonite is and where you don't make the best choices. Did she indicate how she was feeling? She did. She said she was feeling like he was lying and that it wasn't sitting well with her. And how did Mr. Combs respond? Come take my phone. Did Miss Coram respond to that? She says, it's not about your phone. If you're starting to lie, that will break me. Please read the message that Nat Moore said. The article could be worse. They're calling it a breakup fight. And Tenney says, Your Honor, may I briefly confer with the AUSA Foster here for the government? So the jurors, they went out and had a stretch. They came back, and she came up there and she said, I like the public and press screens to be turned off for the next part. We're looking at a message from November 22nd, 2023 between Jane and KK. Is that correct? Yep. Jane writes, that's not doing any more hard partying. Then she mentioned something about wasting 3 years, right? Yes. And here's a message from KK to Perez asking, how does he look? Shockingly good, right? Better than before, correct? And he said, that's right. No further questions, Your Honor. So she's off the stand for now. They don't bring her back. So a special agent from the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York is reviewing the charts. And all of these different things are coming into light, right? So it's like AUSA Johnson said, Mr. Pendleton, Delessa Penland, right? And he's reading the charts. The defense said objection. And then they go and have a sidebar. They come back and said, Miss Johnson, you may proceed. They said, Miss Penland, when you say someone attended the meeting, are you basing that on available records that then video evidence? And they were like, well, who are the participants in the charts? They was like Sean Combs. And they was, please read the messages aloud. And she says, I'm available Friday through Sunday, whatever flights work, which ones? Reading as Diddy Combs, they cite from Friday at 4 p.m. They said, where was the flights between? Los Angeles and JFK in New York. They said, did documentations, retention policies affect your abilities to retrieve the records? She was like, yes, it did affect my abilities to retrieve the records. I wasn't able to obtain those records due to retention limitations. And they said, they was like, Miss Penland, did you review American Express records as part of your analysis? I did. The particular charge was for a flight from Miami booked from Cassandra Ventura. They said, and here is a charge from the London hotel billed to that same American Express account. Whose account was that? It belonged to Sean Combs. The payment was made using an account from a signature bank. Can you read this message aloud? It says, this is the Trump Columbus Circle. I'm heading there now. Can you contact the front desk and get the adult film channel unlocked? And what does Cassie Ventura respond? She just called them. Who are the individuals in this communication? The government says to Mr. Penland. And he says, Cassie Ventura and someone unidentified as N.Y. Punish, also known as Shirey Hayes. And what are they discussing? The first 4 days at the administration. So she's like, they're talking about costs, and in this part, they're referencing videos. So they had everybody turn their screens off, and they said, Miss Penn, what is the date of the flight and the invoice shown on the jury? And they said, October 10, 2012, a flight booked for Mrs. Ventura from Los Angeles to New York, billed to Bad Boy Entertainment. They said, let's move the message between Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs from October 13th. Can you read them? You ready tonight? Yes, but I need to get something. Man, you had all day. All day. It's always something, as Diddy said to Cassie. Jury is shown messages Ventura sent separately to two men discussing times to meet and giving them information for a hotel room in New York. Was anything notable about this hotel booking? Yes, the room was reserved under the name Janet Clark and paid for in cash. And there was another room. Yes, early in the morning on October the 14th, one of the men texted Miss Ventura that he was in a different room. That second room was booked under the name Frank Black and was paid for using both cash and an American Express card. Some of the videos shown to the jury, but not to the public. Ms. Johnson was not seeing the footage at our end. So the government said, well, let's start the playback from 10:30 to the 11-minute mark. So Ms. Penland said, please look at line 23 in the transcripts, and I'll read Mr. Combs' text message. It says, please read Mrs. Ventura's messages. So AUSA Combs, she says, Diddy's like, I'm feeling horny. Want to have a little fun? And Cassie said, should I call Jules? Can you send the hotel details? I'm about to smoke. What you up to? And Diddy was like, what's going on? So Penland asked Ventura, I asked him to drive around. We'll let him know when he's ready to come on up and do his due. So as Diddy, she says, I'm a bit concerned from last time, dress casual. Can you bring some baby oil? And he's like, how should she dress? Casual. Casual is fine, but no baby oil. Cassie didn't want baby oil. So AUSA as Johnny, she says, on my way to Lamar. He said, would you mind me driving around until I say when to come up? That's what Cassie said. Would you mind driving around until I say who to come up? And they said, can we take a break here? We might have him come back to the stand, but can he take a break? And they were like, a break? So they come in there and they have a meeting up there, and he says, look, this was damaging. That's what some people were saying. They want Alexandra Shapiro, because he says he's going to update them about specific information, which was told to the rest of the jurors about juror number 6. That was at the request of Alexandra Shapiro. So they're filing some type of junction about the way juror number 6 was handled. That whole situation did not sit well with the defense at all. As I told you, this judge is a softie. He does not want to proceed in any way, shape, or form. Well, when you're surrounding yourself with people who does not have your best interests in mind, and they're not thinking best intentions, even though they say that, oh, I did that with the best intentions. Best intentions, you know what best intentions is? A screw up. You screwed up, but it wasn't your intention to screw up. That's all best intentions are. We went into this with the best intentions. That's supposed to make me feel better. Words like best intentions and with all due respect, keep them. They serve no purpose. Nobody's going to feel better because you say it with all due respect. They going to take it as disrespect. So watch your mouth and proceed with caution. it often surprises me that certain decisions are made throughout the course of a trial and people don't seem to pick up on it the way they should. The way I saw it and the way I saw things laid out, to me, it was a clear-cut case of one side being one way and another side being another way. Straight up and down. You could always tell who are going to be a problem. You can always tell who's going to be a problem and who's not. Now get this. Everyone today was talking about how it was all over, meaning the trial. This case is over. Oh, they beat. They can't do that. No way they can do this. Case is over. Trial over. Oh, Diddy lost. That's all I'm hearing. Diddy lost. He can't do that. He don't know. Oh, Diddy's in trouble. Diddy's doomed. He's through. That is it for Diddy. That's all I heard. And I'm like, whoa, they got him on Rico now. I'm like, they do? Where? Why do the people keep saying these things and they're not true? It's crazy. They have not proved anything yet. These text messages prove, oh, they got it now. They got the paperwork. They don't have paperwork that's doing anything or saying anything like that. They have text messages that are inconclusive. And the prosecution was reading half of a text message and not reading the whole message. So whenever somebody is doing that, they already playing games. The jury found Jonathan Majors guilty. You know the video where he was running from the white woman? They found him guilty, knowing he was innocent. And look what it did to his career. He got dropped by everybody he had because a white woman wanted to take the phone out of his hands. And he wanted to keep his phone and wouldn't give it to her. She's hitting on him and everything. She wasn't even charged. She showed her little bruises and scratches. Like, look what I got. I got a bruise and scratch from her swinging on him. And then he showed his scratches and what happened to him. The judge said, oh, we can't admit that in court. They was like, why not? Well, we can't prove that happened during the fight. Well, you can't prove anything that she did. It was already, you're a black guy with a white girl. That's your crime. And you got money. Who told you to have money? Who told you you could do that? They just took a black man, a juror who's a black man, and got him off the case. And you don't think something fishy is going on here? They was like, oh, well, he said he lived in Chicago, the Bronx. Now he living in Jersey and all that. And so, I think he just wanted to get on the case. Why are y'all so worried about where this brother is living? Was the brother showing up late? No, the brother was on time. Was he attentive? Was he taking notes? He was doing everything right. They wanted that black man out there because they felt that black man ain't going with the status quo. He's seeing BS and he calling out BS, and other jurors is like, hey, we got to get rid of him. We got to find a way to get this black man up out of here. And let's replace him with the next alternate, a white person. That whole thing stinks to high heaven. And this judge is doing everything for the prosecution, giving them every break in the book. Because this should have been a mistrial. All the mistakes they've made, putting people on the stand that perjured themselves. And y'all talking about Diddy's guilty? They're guilty. The prosecution is guilty. They're the ones messing up around here. Prejudicial misconduct. Mistrial. Definitely. A hung jury don't help. A hung jury just means, okay, Diddy's already still in jail, so he don't get out of jail because it's a hung jury. He's still in jail till whenever they get the trial back going. So a hung jury don't help Diddy. A mistrial, yeah, now he goes home. But this judge is too much of a coward to do that. Because in his mind, I already knew he was going to get rid of the juror. He was going to get rid of the juror, and they wanted to. Why would the prosecution fight to have him removed so bad? Because he's black. They got 5 white women sitting there trying this case. When has that ever happened in life? Have you seen 5 white women for the New York criminal case against a black man? That don't even happen. The man that was handling the trial, they got rid of him and replaced him with Marine Comey so they could bring in 5 white women. No, it's actually 5, but hell, it don't matter. Throw another one in there if you want. Like dude said, a 6-pack of white women. And that was the best thing Mark ever said. I don't disagree with it at all. The judge was mad about it. I don't care. I'm not a lawyer. I say a 6-pack of white women. Hit the like button. Diddy's done. Done for what? He ain't did nothing. When you haven't done anything wrong, why is people saying somebody's done when they haven't done anything? Hey, he's done. I'd be like, done what? He hasn't done anything. You keep saying they proved the Rico. Where did they prove the Rico at? Where's the Rico? Where's the prophet? Where's the racketeering? She been saying they proved Rico about 4 weeks ago. She's the same person that said, oh, this person died. That's still alive. That was supposed to testify against Diddy. The dude who's in jail in the mental institution, talking about he slept with Cassie. Remember they talking about he was gonna be in the case and taking the stand? I'm like, they can't put that dude on the stand. He's labeled as mentally insane. The dude that went up there in the Trump Towers and started shooting. You gonna trust a dude who's mentally crazy? Like him, you could put him on the stand. Or the sex worker that decided to go off on a drug binge and take out a woman who had paid him. He said he was a sex worker that slept with them too. Are y'all going after the other celebrities that y'all talked about who was at these sex shows? Oh, it wasn't a crime when they were having sex with other people. That was okay. Only if you black and you get sex people and you pay them to come over to do sexual acts or whatever, then it's a crime. Profits aren't always used, okay? How do you prove a Rico without profit? I'm speaking because a lawyer has told me this. I'm just trying to figure it all out. They got to make it make sense to me. And when it doesn't make sense to me, what are we doing here? You see what I'm saying? What are we doing here? It's not making sense. So if it's not making sense, that means it's not adding up. Something isn't adding up. That's why I say it's always crazy to me. Everybody has all these expectations. They're bringing all this information out, but no one seems to be telling the truth. And why is the federal government not telling the truth? I have no idea. They just want to win a case so bad that they'll put people on there that probably have perjured their entire testimony. And they knew that going in. And if they didn't know, to think they could pull it over on this defense and get it, because they know they got a judge who's a softie. And he's just going to do whatever it takes and say whatever needs to be said to get it done. That's always been my complaint. My complaint was this judge doing whatever it is that he wants to do in the case, and everybody else just has to bow down to it. Whatever the prosecution bring up, well, Your Honor, we just thought it'd be fair. This isn't about race. Yep, this isn't about race. I'll be like, no, it is about race. That's why you got a six-pack of white women over there. Race, gender, the whole thing. They could have put a black woman over there. No, they didn't want that. They don't have black women that could try anything over there for the government. Do I think they're gonna find him? Yes. Because it's New York. Is he guilty? No. But do I think an all-white jury is gonna sit there and say that Diddy is guilty? Absolutely. and then he will file an appeal and he'll win the appeal. You see, this is how the criminal system works. They just want to tar and feather Diddy. That's all this is, a tar and feathering. Humiliation of Sean Diddy Combs. There is no coming back. That's like OJ. When OJ won the case, his life was over. The life he thought he could go back to, nope. He couldn't get no work. People didn't want to work with him. They didn't want to be seen with him. He come in the restaurant, hey, they like, you can't do, you gotta go. People want to see you in here. People at the restaurant, they're disgusted. Because they all believe you did it even though you won the case. He had to move out of California. I thought it was very much in poor taste what the prosecution was doing, what the defense was doing. I thought it was done all in poor taste. The defense is doing the best they can, but I've never seen a defense this handcuffed and tied in a trial where it's just every day it's something new that they're allowing in exhibits, and they're playing a game of stalling. They're dragging the witness on so that the witness can have less time, saying that they got to fly back out of the country, or this person's here, they got to go back to California, so the defense don't have enough time to cross-examine them. They was like, no, we're going to need 30, 40. We got to go through these exhibits. Well, how much time do you got? Like, oh, hell no. The prosecution had them for 2 days, and you telling us we can only cross-examine them for this much time. It don't make no sense. Then if we want to bring Cassie back in here to back up some statements, oh, well, we don't know her availability. We don't know if she can come back now. And like, anyway, this is why they should have delayed the trial, because Cassie was pregnant, but they wanted that imagery of Cassie being pregnant, just like Kid Cudi's testimony, just to give it celebrity appeal. It's ridiculous. Kanye's there to get publicity for his song. He ain't there to support no goddamn Diddy. Kanye ain't taking no stand. If they call Kanye to the stand to back up a story, it's just gonna heighten the case. So for y'all to say they proven something and the defense hadn't even called their witnesses yet. Well, they thought they could try to pull it with Jay-Z, but Jay-Z is, he rock solid over there. You can't come at him with a fraudulent case and try to throw Jay-Z name in it too. Gonna attach Jay-Z to the lawsuit. That was Tony's biggest mistake. They'll let you get away with that with Diddy. But Jay-Z, you the biggest fool in the world if you thought you was gonna pull that on hold. If somebody is standing on business meaning that you're telling the truth. That's standing on business. They read a bunch of text messages. So if somebody's reading a bunch of text messages, what do you expect to happen from the rest of the jury and the general public? Why would Jay-Z fire Desiree Perez? This thing with her daughter might cause her to step down. You see, Jay-Z don't fire anybody. It's not up to Jay-Z. He doesn't run anything. Like I told you, Jay-Z is not a businessman. He pretends to be one. I remember they interviewed Jay-Z about his business and what he had going on. Jay sounded as dumb as a bunch of rocks. He had no clue. And they were asking him questions and he was just stuck. Well, you know, when you have a product that, you know, the people, you know, standing, you know, by, and they want to, you know, they want to have it because they you know, the credibility of that brand, you know. See, you know, right? People want it, and you know, they want to get it. So they was like, well, can we talk about the improvements that happened and what was the process like and the negotiations? And well, it was we all know, right? You know, when you have you know, the right people and the infrastructure, you know, it's just gonna work, you know. You know, Jay was so confused. He didn't know what to say, what was going on. I saw that interview. I said, yep, I knew it. He didn't know anything. He really was behind. He hadn't done any research. The Ace of Spades, he don't know what's going on with that. Jay got other people to do it. So Live Nation, who's really running Rock Nation, they'll be making that decision. They just have no responsibility of anything that happens. It'll be Juan Perez and Desiree Perez and all the other partners. But it'll be Jay-Z and Danielle Perez be the main two that takes all the lumps. Jay-Z didn't make any decisions at Rockefeller. All he did was sign his signature. That's all Jay-Z ever did was sign his signature. Well, she bought the gym. He's got some gym that he's training out of. He's unemployed and white. Make that make sense. He knows he got a woman taken care of. He did a Kevin Federline. Kevin Federline, he got custody of Britney Spears' kids, which is his kids, and he's getting paid. He raised those 3 boys. got him a rap album out. He was up in the ring. Kevin Federline. So now he got him a gym so people can come there and run the gym. But Cassie's money is supporting all that. She'll be broke in 10 years. Because she going to want to go to Paris. She going to want to do all this. Cassie's here. She's going to want to write a book. My Life with Diddy. She'll be broke in 10 years. Like I've often said, who gonna want to be with a trainer that sleeps with somebody's girlfriend? They don't want you around. You think they want you around them? Right, what person is gonna hire? Oh, what's up, KB? Man, I gotta do the Captain Jack, man. I was waiting for you to do it first. Man, Captain Jack went full Captain Jack, boy. Jesus Christ. This guy just will never change. Never change. That boy went full Captain Jack. I was finna call you, but it was too late. That was crazy. No, I think they will find Diddy guilty, but I believe he's innocent of all charges. Every single charge. They haven't proved anything. I don't know where do you think they've proven a Rico case? No, because see, here's the thing. If you can't throw a black juror off, black people got situations. Like, they act like Jersey is somewhere real far. It's past the state line. He lives in the Bronx and he lives in Jersey. It's complicated. Like he's saying, he got a girl he messed with. He got the kid. His work take him back and forth. He stay over there. He be back in the Bronx, but he really from the Bronx. So he's from New York. I don't even understand, why would you want to switch a juror this late in the game? The prosecution this day last week for witnesses. So by Wednesday, they might be done with all their witnesses, or Friday. That's it. They done. Then it's the defense side to call their witnesses. So they done. So they gonna wrap everything up and be done. Why in the world you want to switch a juror? I can see it. You should have caught this early on, like before they started the trial. If he ain't did no violations while on the stand, why is you so? What was the need to really go to pursue to get him up out of there? Unless he wasn't going, unless he was saying, I don't know, in that jury room, oh, this is some bullshit. Brother like, oh no, she's a hoe. She just going for the money. She didn't say it. I got it right here. She wants the money. And then the other girl, she was a hoe too. It's a lot of hoes up in here. And they were lying. And now you got a woman that came up there that pretty much perjured herself on the stand. She talking about Diddy put all these marks and bruises on her, and Diddy wasn't even in the same coast. He was in the East Coast. And they thought, because they can't see the time step, they got forensic experts. They found the date of those photos. You can't switch the date. It was September the 26th. It's on the photo. They found it. The prosecution did. They were so stupid, they didn't even find it. Well, it don't mean it. Maybe it was the 29th or 30th, but it happened. You can't say it happened. How you gonna say it happened and this is saying it didn't? This is saying definitively these photos was taken on the 26th. So somebody else ran your goddamn neck and you want to blame Diddy. Because you claim that you owe drug dealers money. What do drug dealers do when you don't have the money? And you got their product. They put a foot in your ass. But you ain't finna sue the drug dealers. Right, and then once again, they go right to this punk ass judge. And this punk ass judge is scared to do anything. They said, well, look, we got a mistrial here. Well, let's not jump the gun. We don't know if there's a mistrial. We don't know if this is what we need to do just yet. Just bear with us. Well, what I'm gonna rule is that you could say to the jury that some of the people here may have perjured themselves. We'll allow you to tell the jury that, because I'm a punk. Punk ass juror. Punk ass judge. And they're making shit up. No, he gonna get found guilty. He's gonna appeal and win the appeal. Why? Because this is New York. That's what I told you. The New York criminal system is ridiculous. So to have this keep going on, it's completely, it makes no sense. Some of the charges he won't be found guilty on, for sure. They damn sure ain't proved no racketeering or no trafficking. He was just doing freaky stuff with his girl, having threesomes and orgies with, and he's a cuckold. Cuckold is a crime? Yeah, they did drugs for personal use, not for selling it and making a profit. So where's the profit? Overzealousness with charges. I told you about them guns, didn't I? They beat those them gun charges was beat the moment they brought it to the stand like they had something with them guns. One is Florida. Two, they have no proof the guns was even his. They didn't even have the evidence collected. They don't even know how the locker was there. He has a security force.
We're loud. We get fun and crazy, you know, and they want us to be quiet.
Yo, so I'm gonna let y'all go. I gotta make a